Hi guys, in this video I will be sharing on the 10 things I wish I had known before I start to build my 3D printer. 4 years ago, I had this small idea on making a drone of myself. However, I stumbled across one of the biggest problems during the planning phase: how to get the materials for the making. I can find all the electronic parts around the internet, but it seems like all the plastic parts are hard to get, while manufacturers are not going to entertain for my low volume need. Then a brilliant idea came across my mind: why don't I make a 3D printer and print out all the parts that I want? I roughly scanned across the internet sources to look for relevant information. Shortly, after watching a few videos and websites, I proceeded to buy some electronic parts feeling very confident. However, when the parts started arriving at my home, I found out that all the parts are not compatible to each other and some is not even useful at all. Thus, here comes the first lesson to this video. Do proper and full researches before any purchasing of parts. I brought this CNC shield thinking that 3D printer can be made out of this simple driver. And so I thought a 3D printer has only 3 axes, and in which this is more than enough, as the CNC shield provided me with 4 controlling ports. This is later proved to be wrong when I found out that the extra one controlling port is the couple port for Z-axis, as most of the CNC application requires 2 steppers for its Z-axis. To make things even worse, I only came to realize that there is a need of another independent stepper motor to control the extruder. I am completely underestimate and not fully know about the exact function of a 3D printer at this stage. Here comes the second lesson. Fully understand the function and working principle of the 3D printer before you're trying to build one. The project ended up halting for quite some time, as I felt disappointed for wasting my money buying the useless materials. After some time, I started to gather myself and slowly rebooting the project. The third lesson is to have clear decisions on the type of printer that you are building. I decided to build a small 3D printer utilizing the CD-ROMs, as I managed to salvage some old CD drives from my broken computer. The next lesson is always try to use available ready modules to build your 3D printer. I used to think that the 3D printer that I built should made up of 100% own work, including the software and hardware. However, this seems to be impractical and huge wasting of time, as the efforts are too huge. There are plenty of available software and hardware modules which many developers work hard in team to produce it. We can appreciate their efforts by proper use of them. For hardware modules, you can get the Arduino 3D printer packs, which come along with LCD, mainboard and motor drivers with reasonable prices. Most importantly, they are compatible to the software too. After a few months of making, I finally managed to build my first CD-ROM drives 3D printer, Mark I. The night before I finished the project, I was so excited and nervous that I could not even sleep. I remained skeptical about the function of the 3D printer until I managed to flash in the firmware and make it run for the first time. I successfully printed a calibration cube which is scaled down to the extreme, as my printing area is extremely small. This printer is not going to have any practical usage value. However, I'm still satisfied with the building by that time. I immersed in streams of happiness for successions in this little machine, but not for long. Just 2 days later, while I was trying to make some tuning on the electric board, I shorted the board by accidentally touching some conducting pins. There ended my little machine's life just like that. So sadly, I will be reviewing the 5th lesson, which is always cut down your power supply when you try to adjust or fix the machine electronics. After some mourning period for my first 3D printer, then I make up my mind to build another 3D printer, Mark II. This time with careful plan for its printing area. I decided to make it bigger and practical for my designing purpose. This time I patiently draw up plans and drawing designs for the printer. After all the designing and material collections, I proceed to build my second 3D printer. The processes are comparatively smoother and faster compared to the first time of the building. After few weeks, I managed to build a 15 cube volume 3D printer. This printer accompanies and works for me the longest time completing some of my designing projects. However, it still has its flaws and its structure is a little bit skewed and not stable. This caused the printer to be extremely hard in wet leveling and lack of accuracy in bigger prints. So, the sixth lesson is that properly design the axis structure can greatly increase the stability and the accuracy of the printer. Put more effort on designing the axis structure and you will save yourself a lot of troubles when using it to print later. The seventh lesson is the guidance of friend or person who has experiences in 3D printing is inevitable. In my journey of building my 3D printer, I made two friends whom act as a mentor that guided me and gave me some advice during my hard time. I still remember that my first few printings, the filaments jammed in the extruder every 10 minutes after the printing started. A few words from my expertise friends helped to solve this problem. Those solutions I might not be able to find out alone in forever. The eighth lesson that I would like to share is that it is always encouraging to learn how to design simple 3D objects using computer-aided design software. Even though there are countless of free 3D models in websites like Thingiverse, Free3D, Cults, and Extra, it will be more satisfying to print out a 3D model which is specially designed by you. Learning how to design 3D parts may be a painstaking step in the beginning. However, when you are able to master them, you will find out how wonderful it is to be able to create something out of your imagination. Here I would like to bring you to see my third 3D printer, Mark III. Haha, just kidding. My third 3D printer is Ender 3V2, which I get from the 3D printing shop with a fair price. I felt delightful on how perfect the performance is comparative to my previous self-built 3D printers. I spent even more money to build the previous 3D printer, including buying some of the useless or failed parts, but yet to build a 3D printer that is not as powerful as the one readily sold in the market. So here goes my second last lesson for you. Buy a ready-made 3D printer if all your passion is just 3D printing. I feel passionate on how to build my own 3D printer in the first place. So instead of just buying the 3D printer, I insisted on building one of it on my own. Thus, unless you have a strong intention and passions to build one by yourself, I might suggest you to just walk into nearby printing shop or online to buy one of it that is readily made. You can still enjoy the happiness and the challenges to assemble the 3D printer out from the box. Before I go on to the last lessons, I hope that this video will give you an insight on the journey to make your own 3D printer. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share it to your friends. Your support will be my passion to make more videos like this. So here is the final and the most important lessons in building a 3D printer. It is to be patient and keep your passions. There is no doubt that you might be facing great challenges on the journey to build your own 3D printer. However, if you keep your patience and passions, I believe that you too will strive through all the challenges and succeed in building one of your own 3D printer someday. Thanks for watching and welcome to the world of 3D printing.